Hi, SNEs. Welcome to your final training, Training 5. We thought you'd appreciate an archive training since everyone is concentrating on starting school. Our agenda for today, we're going to talk about some things we have to celebrate, deadline information, software updates, and then take another look at the forums within the digital library, as well as look at some South Dakota rollout timeline information, and we'll end up with what we know about the sustainability of the digital library itself. So what do we have to celebrate? A lot. Take a look at this chart. South Dakota has done an excellent job. We both congratulate you and thank you very much. 45 of you have at least one resource posted. Well, excuse me, of the 45 of you, you have at least one resource contributed, and 37 of you have one posted. But look at that percent, 82%. We're right up there and the leaders among this group of states in the Smarter Balanced Consortium. But also way to the right, look at the 6%. We have the best percentage. We have the most participation from our SNEs. You guys are great. One of the things that was interesting to us at our Training 5 was how far we've come. If you think back to almost a year ago, in November of 2013, a lot of things have happened. I'm not going to read through these, but you can take a look at where we started, and right now in August 2014, where we are. The slide says there are over 1,400 resources posted, but as of today, August 14th, that number is really over 1,500. And of course, there's still some waiting to be reviewed and some waiting to be resubmitted, but things are moving along. We also want to give kudos to two of our SLTs, June and Faye. They have been working even harder behind the scenes. They are two of just the 16 SLT reviewers who have taken on some extra duties to take care of the bottleneck of backed up submitted resources and reviews. So, Faye and June, thanks. But we also want to know that you're going to get even further recognition. Your superintendents and principals will receive an email about the work that you've been doing in late October. And we're hoping, and we will encourage them to share this with your school boards. But in the meantime, feel free to share this information with your colleagues, your administrators. And if you run into a school board member, let them know what you've been doing over the past year. That this digital library has been created by teachers, for teachers, and South Dakota played a big role.
Okay, now I'm going to share a little bit about what happened this summer. We had a few summer workshops that our SNEs joined in on. First off, 12 of our SNEs came to Las Vegas in a special review workshop. And then in Rapid City, there was a workshop that we emailed you about. And then also in Sioux Falls, between Rapid City and Sioux Falls, we had 15 SNEs join in. So that means that over half of our SNEs participated in summer workshop opportunities. And while we were in Las Vegas, something awesome happened. We hit the 1,000 resource mark. So there is when over 1,000 resources were posted. And I believe we just looked, and now there are over 1,500 resources, maybe even closer to 1,600 now. And this just shows the review success from the week in Las Vegas. So the graph on the left side, those are the number of resources posted. When we started the week, there was only 779 posted. By Thursday, we had 1,100 posted. And then the second graph, those are the number of reviews that were in a queue. And it started with 1,092. With all of our reviews, we lowered that down to 364. So it was a major success. And this shows the total number of reviews that happened for the week. And as you see, there was 1,384 total resources or reviews that occurred that week.
And while that was going on in Vegas, we were doing a lot of submitting and editing and reviewing in Rapid City and Sioux Falls.
Okay, and then we also have a little bit of, or some deadline information. First off, this is the contract requirements. You need to have 4 posted resources and you have to complete 12 reviews. And this is to be completed by September 30th. And the spreadsheet for payment is due on October 20th. So by October 20th, you must have 4 posted resources and 12 completed reviews in order to get paid for the last deadline. And we talked about additional CE hours that is still available. These are available for reviews above 12. Just remember every 3 reviews that you do above 12, that equals 1 CE hour. And the maximum number of hours you can get is 15. So with this project, if you do so many, if you get 15 hours, remember 15 hours equals 1 credit. And then after September 20th is when we will send out the certificates to you.
There have been quite a few software updates, so we're just going to go through this fast, but you'll have all the screenshots here, and it will be posted to the wiki. If you want to look back, it is also in PDF format there. So first of all, some of the topics that they want to make sure you know about is that they have made are listed here, and they have overall been very good about listening to feedback from everyone and trying to make the digital library as easy and seamless to use as possible. So first, let's take a look at the user profile. Users have an easier way to complete their profile. Now, after a new user completes the login process, they're automatically taken to this profile setup wizard. It walks them through setting up their entire profile, which really is 3 easy steps. This is the page showing the personal information. This is the expertise section of the profile. Say that you want to say what your background is or what your credentials are, your experience. Possibly, I've taught in K-5 and I've also taught in 9-12, etc. And then the privacy section. One of the things that is really quite easy to use here, you just decide what do you want to be visible on the optional side, and then of course take a look at the right side where it is visibility required. Simply checking gets you what you want there. And now we want to make sure you know that within the digital library itself, of course, there's a welcome tutorial, and that has had many updates made to it. The tutorial topics are listed here. Again, you find this within the digital library itself, and that might be something that you use if you want to include this in some PD that you deliver within your own building or district. Always available. Then the next updates are about the digital library resources page. What's really cool, I think, is that these resource cards don't all have the same boring icon on them anymore. They have graphics, and the graphic comes from the primary resource that is uploaded. Of course, you can see some of these are modules also, and then it's not 100% of the time that something is loaded there, but about 95% they say. And if you see the green checks, I think we might talk about those. Those are posted with distinction. That's what that means. So let's take a look at the resource reviewing. There are a few extra cool improvements. My favorite, as an SLT, is that the resources that are arbitrated and returned are returned to the arbitrator and not the original 3 reviewers. I did one of these yesterday. It was just a few little typos that needed to be fixed, so the contributor fixed them within 10 minutes, went straight back to me, I looked at it, and it was posted. So that is helping with some of that backup and getting things posted too. And also, this is a new change, the resources that are returned without arbitration go back to the original 3 reviewers, but they now just have 5 days to complete those reviews instead of the 15 that we had told you about earlier in the summer. So everything is on a much shorter timeline. And then the filter that said resource states has now changed to resource status, so you can find where your stuff is a little bit quicker and easier. It's on the Resource Review tab. Previously, reviewers only knew that they had a resubmitted resource by looking in their notifications. Now they have a tab that shows resubmitted resources. Let's look at the updates made regarding the My Resources page. The resource status filter now has more options. It used to just let you know a few things, but now look, you have 8 different choices. You can go and see if your resource is waiting for gatekeeping, if it's waiting for quality criteria. Nice new feature. And then the updates made regarding the individual contributor and reviewer report are very helpful too. Contributors and reviewers can now run their own individual contributor reviewer report. It's a tab right there at the top. SLT members can continue to pull reports of the SNE members. Several updates have been made to the reporting functionality. Users can now click a time period for cumulative to date without having to pick a date range. And that red arrow is showing you right there. That way you don't miss anything. The report shows how many resources were contributed, posted, and posted with distinction. It also shows information about usage and discussion for each of the contributors' resources.
I was just going to say, this is very nice. So you can actually go in and see your own individual report. So you don't have to ask us anymore just to see how many you've had posted, how many you have reviewed. You can see all your own reports now.
And the status of your resource is more detailed. Previously, the resource would just say in review. It now indicates which state, like I talked about a minute ago, where it actually is, so you know what it's waiting for. And I'm going to just stop right here that says, once you look at that and you see maybe your resource is just waiting for like the 3rd review, contact one of your South Dakota SNE friends and say, do you need a review? Would you mind reviewing mine? Give them the title, help them find it, whatever the tags might be helpful. There's absolutely nothing wrong with that. Review for each other and let's get the resources through. So now we have some updates about the flagging options. I'm not sure we've been flagging much at all, but you can. They can be flagged as a duplicate. If you've come across something that you're like, wait, somebody else submitted that, very similar resource, they might have just called it something a bit different.
And with this as well, if you actually click on one of these choices, then a box will pop up where you can actually type in what the issue is. So you don't just check mark it and flag it. You'll click to select it, and then you'll be able to type in the issue.
So they have the details.
Yes.
Okay, and then usage statistics. This is pretty cool. During this pilot time, they've been tracking how much the digital library has been used, and of course, they wouldn't expect extreme usage over the summer months when everyone's busy with everything else. But if you just look from at the far right, the percent of registered users per week has really almost doubled. And I'm sure we're going to be hearing much more about that, and they will give us some data once South Dakota rolls this out about individual South Dakota data. So the product roadmap, these are just some things that are being talked about. None of these are in place right now, but again, they want to let you know that they are taking your feedback very seriously. So let's take one more closer look at forms.
Okay, and remember we talked about the forums tab in the past. Forums tab, this is where you can actually start topics and you can discuss topics with one another. You can either discuss topic or go to the resource forums, or you can start a new topic or go to the topic forums. The one we're going to show you is the topic forums. So notice on this page you have grade 9 through 12, the low down in the digital library. Those are just a few or a couple of the topics. So it says the number of topics that are under each one of those titles, and then the number of posts and the number of participants. So within I believe this is the grade 9 through 12, there are 4 topics right here. And the one we're going to click on is just the first year teacher. So this user, he had the question, he's working with some first year teachers and would love to have some suggestions for secondary content areas and the use of eliciting evidence. Anyone have a suggestion? So notice the button on the bottom, there's a reply to topic creator. And both Joan and I actually responded to this one. So this is just what it looks like. So Joan responded and then I responded, and he gets notified when we responded. And just to let you know, if you favorite a forum, then you will get notified every time someone writes to it. So if someone else wrote to this forum, both Joan and I would get notified if we favorited it.
And again, that's your notifications tab within the digital library. Nothing is being pushed through to anyone's email. So you don't have to worry about having your email box like spammed out. But also what's interesting is once a resource is posted now, it is automatically generating participation in these forums. So don't be surprised if you see something with your name.
All right, and the South Dakota rollout timeline, we'll look at that really quickly. So first off, we are trying to strategically introduce the digital library across the state of South Dakota. The first thing we have planned is during mid-September, we are going to be having another testing roadshow. And at this testing roadshow, we will be talking with district level testing coordinators, lead counselors, superintendents, or assistant superintendents, and or technology coordinators. And one of the topics is the digital library. So we will be telling them about the digital library there. Also, on the menu of options, which are professional developments that are available for districts, one of them is the quality assessment professional development. Within this, June is part of the build on this, and she made it so that the digital library will actually be on the quality assessment professional development. So any district that purchases the quality assessment professional development will hear news about the digital library and hear all about it. We also plan on presenting the digital library at Systems Change Conference and also at other potential conferences. And Jan Martin, she always sends out emails to the testing coordinators, usually weekly, sometimes every other week. And in these emails, she will include information about the digital library if there's updates. And in the late fall, we will also be hosting regional trainings across the state. And at these trainings, we'll be offering training for the digital library. We'll also be offering training for the new interim assessments, which you'll learn more about in the future. And we'll also be offering training about the South Dakota Assessment Portal. So stay tuned for more information about that. And we also have a promotion plan. These are all, this is just a plan as of now. But in the Department of Education newsletters, we'll be sure to include information about the digital library. On the listservs, we'll send information about the digital library as well. On the DOE website, we'll make sure to update that so it has all the information you need on the digital library. And also, anybody that goes to our website, they'll be able to find any and all information we have about the digital library. In a couple weeks or so, Smarter Balance is creating a toolkit, and we'll be helping, and we'll talk about that a little bit later, but we'll use that for promoting the digital library. Some of our SNEs helped create a promotional video for the digital library. It's just it's not quite approved yet. We're just getting it out there right now and getting it approved right now. And then also the wiki, we plan to keep that up and going, and we'll make it more user friendly too, or we plan to make it more user friendly, or not user friendly, but just for the general public, so anybody could go to it and get information about the digital library. And that digital library toolkit that I told you about, within that there are 6 PowerPoint help topic decks. 3 of these, I believe, are already in the digital library help tab, so you can check those out by going to the help tab of the digital library.
Or I already posted those 3 that are ready right to the Training 5 page of the wiki. You can get them right there.
Yes. And then we'll also have or Smarter Balance will also provide 2 recorded digital library tours for us. And what I'm really excited about is the digital library brochure. So we'll have a brochure that we will be able to hand out at trainings and conferences and everywhere. And we'll get those to you as well so you can hand them out to your colleagues, administrators, friends, everybody, family.
Sustainability, that was the big question in our last training. And again, because this is a new tool and it's been kind of invented and created as we go, sustainability doesn't quite have all the answers yet. There is some grant and there is some talk about other organizations and other ways educators can participate. But right now, we're going to concentrate on getting it rolled out and getting educators using it. And we'll let you know as soon as we're aware. But the next slide shows some of the questions that we're sure you're thinking about or have been wanting to ask. The scope of the goals and activities for the digital library is, of course, under Smarter Balance governance, and there is a group that will be making those decisions and moving the project forward. So, thank you so much for all of your work, and we will be in touch. If you have further questions, contact Matt anytime or contact your SLT. And of course, keep watching your email for future updates.